Hey, it's Josie with Affirmation Pod, your home for affirmations and positive self-talk. I hope as you're listening to this, you're finding peace and gratitude in the simple things of life. Welcome to new listeners. Welcome back to returning listeners. I appreciate so much your love and support of Affirmation Pod, sharing it with family and friends, putting in a rating in Apple Podcasts, and following me on social media. It's been a great start to the new year, and I have you to thank for that. So from my heart to yours, thank you so much. And today's episode has been a huge request. It's actually a request that kept coming in even after I decided this would be the topic for this episode. It's on receiving love, and messages have come in from people who are single and wanting to be in a relationship, people who've done some reflecting and growing and want to pick up the pieces of a broken relationship and mend the relationship. It's also a request from people who are married or in exclusive relationships. Someone DM'd me on Instagram and said, I'm lucky enough to have been blessed with a wonderful husband, but I still struggle with believing I'm worthy of his love. Someone else said, I think the biggest thing holding me back is that I don't trust anyone or open up to anyone. This is because I expect to be rejected and ultimately that they won't love or accept me. I think I do love myself, but maybe not really if I don't think I'm worthy of love by other people. As I write this, I'm thinking this is a silly question, but I've already started. And it's totally not a silly question. I think we've all been through the experience of building barriers to prevent love from coming in. And quite often they're there from experiences that have hurt us, and we're protecting ourselves. I'll read one more. Again, a DM on Instagram. I've gone through a lot of personal trauma and bullying as a child, as well as conquering an eating disorder and overcoming my obesity. But even now, I feel like I'm not worthy enough to let people see myself fully because I fear that they may suddenly realize that I'm not the incredible woman they fully believe. I know that I am this woman, and I'm working hard to love her and respect her and develop my self-esteem for her, but it always shakes when I'm around people. It's like I'm waiting for the penny to drop. And even though I know I'm this amazing person, I still need to work on keeping my self-worth and confidence high when being around people both platonically and romantically. And so thank you to everyone who has shared this request with me. Thank you also for waiting for this episode, which some of you have been waiting quite a while for. It's a priority for me to make this episode free for you to listen anywhere, anytime, but it's not free for me to create. So I want to share with you a tool that saves me hours every month, including a couple of months where I saved 16 hours in the month. Are you thinking, tell me more? If you're sending out emails, creating documents, replying to messages, Text Expander works with you that you don't have to copy and paste or type the same thing over and over ever again. With Text Expander, you make snippets. That's what they call it. I call it shortcodes. It does take a bit of time to get used to it. I always try to remember you got to slow down before you can speed up. And man, once you get used to it, you can get through things so fast. The snippets do, as the name implies, expands text, but you can also personalize things with the fill in the blank option, drop-down menu, and optional content that you can toggle on or off. It gets even deeper and more sophisticated than that, but I will leave it at those basics. You get 20% off 1 year of a Text Expander Life Hacker plan. That's the plan I'm on. When you go to affirmationpod.com/textexpander, using this link ensures you get the 20% off, and you are helping keep the mic on here at Affirmation Pod. So again, for 20% off a year of the Text Expander Life Hacker plan, go to affirmationpod.com/textexpander. So now with the announcements done, let's settle in even more and open ourselves up to receiving love. Take a deep breath now, knowing that receiving love and letting love in isn't even a matter of how much love is around you or is in your life. People love you. That's a fact. There are people who love you so much. Receiving love is an inside job. I can feel loved when I get that sense that someone genuinely cares for me and my well-being, but it can be so hard to let them genuinely look out for my interests and give of themselves for my sake. I am worthy of love, and when someone chooses to love me, I receive that love. I understand receiving love isn't like an on-off switch. It is taking time for me to open up, to share vulnerability, to let some walls come down, and allow myself to be embraced, accepted, and cared for in ways that I've been afraid to try. I've become a whole lot wiser in who I let love me. I know exactly who has proven themselves and who've given me so much love and are trustworthy of me opening myself up because they love me just as I am. It's true, I don't know exactly how someone will react or respond if I open myself up fully, but I can talk about it. I can rehearse it in my mind or even give it a try. And right now, I ask fear to step aside, so there's nothing in between me and those who love me. I choose to receive love. And I recognize someone can love me so much, but not be perfect in giving me love. I can honestly say what I want. I can openly share how I feel. And I don't mix up the people who don't really love me with the people who totally love me, but sometimes trip up in showing that love. I'm willing to unlock the doors that I used to make sure would keep people from really loving me. I now go and unlock the doors that have been closed off for so long, and I will move forward with slowly but comfortably unlocking door after door after door. And when I'm ready, opening door after door after door. I am open to receiving love. I am open to receiving care, support, and connectedness. I know opening myself to love is opening myself to risk. And before, I wasn't willing to take those risks. But now I'm open to taking positive, healthy risks. I receive love freely. I receive love joyfully. I receive love gratefully. I also accept that I don't have to do anything except let love in. I don't have to do anything but open myself to let love in. And yes, full confession, receiving is hard. Sometimes it's easier to give because it feels safer. I'm in control. I'm the helper. I'm not vulnerable. And yes, of course it's okay to give. But right now, I'm just going to tell myself it's also okay to receive. It's not selfish. It's actually pretty selfish to not let someone love me. It's okay for someone who loves me to outgive me, even if it's for a short time. I am enough. This isn't a giving contest. I can receive love without feeling like I gotta give something back. Right here is where striving ceases. I accept love, and I accept that I can be loved and treasured for who I truly, really, and authentically am. I can be loved and valued for who I am on the inside, not just what I say, what I do, what I look like, my successes. No, for who I am inside. And I'm willing to go where it's not fully comfortable for me, because I'm so used to being afraid of receiving love, because that's more comfortable. But I'm making the shift. I'm expanding my soul and allowing love to come in. I'm now free to talk about what I want. I can share a deeper layer of myself, one layer at a time, at my own pace, on my own time. And as I do this, I keep on receiving love. Here it's okay to shed some tears. Here it's okay to share my pain. Here it's okay to speak my truth. Because I know when it makes sense to share my inner thoughts, hopes, and dreams, my inner fears, insecurities, and doubts. I've grown up, and I know where I don't need to be worried that I'll get a yawn or a laugh instead of genuine support. I'm so grateful for this maturity. I am lovable. And being lovable doesn't mean I'm perfect. We're all flawed, but we're still lovable. And all the thoughts and beliefs that I'm not worthy of it, I don't deserve it, I should be rejected instead, I let all of that simply evaporate now. And I step forward into the skin where it's not about if I deserve it or not. It's I'm receiving love because someone loves me. Yes, someone loves me. And whether I deserve it or not, whether I'm worthy of it or not, has nothing to do with it. It's my choice to let love in or not. And so it's my time. It's my day. I now let love in. I now receive love. And if that comes in the form of being appreciated by others, I receive love. If that comes in the form of receiving a compliment, I receive love. If that comes in the form of someone helping me, I receive love. Whatever it is I'm so resisting, I choose now to call myself out on it when I notice myself resisting. And instead, I receive love. I let love in. I let love fill me. It is okay to be loved. It is okay to get love from others. It is totally okay to get love from the people who love and adore me. I am loved, and I am so grateful for every single person who loves me. That is my gift for you today. I hope this episode leads to shifts and transformations for you. I know it did for me. Receiving love is not easy for me either. If you would like this episode without the intro and the outro, it's available at Affirmation Pod Access. I've made it available there with the music and also a version that's without the music because some listeners say, sometimes I just want to be alone with my thoughts and your voice and no music. So that is there for you. I've also recently uploaded the Getting Back in the Moment playlist for the times when you have been avoiding yourself and avoiding addressing what you know you should be facing. And also exclusive to Access members is I Give Myself Credit, which is a 3.5-minute affirmation to totally give yourself credit for what you're doing and where you're at and where you're headed. If you are an Access member, go on in and absorb the transformation. If you're not an Access member, there's well over 100 affirmations in there. It's affirmationpod.com/access. That's affirmationpod.com/access. And I want to give a special welcome to all the Access members who joined in January. Thank you so much for coming in. We all listen to podcasts that are consistently asking for ratings and reviews in Apple Podcasts, formerly known as iTunes. But not everyone knows that for me, it took right until around episode 60 before I started asking for listeners to give up their time to go into Apple Podcasts, leave a rating. And while you're there, consider leaving a review as well. Since I started asking for this from listeners, I haven't asked all that often. But I thought for this episode, it would be quite fitting for me to ask for some love from you by going to Apple Podcasts and subscribing to the podcast, leaving a rating. And while you're there, feel free to leave a review if you want as well. This helps for when people are searching for a podcast on affirmations, positive self-talk, to consider Affirmation Pod. And as they go through the ratings, just like when you're shopping for something and you're looking at the reviews of the product, the more positive reviews there are, they're more likely to check it out and hopefully find that transformation within themselves too. Thank you to you for listening to the podcast. And don't forget, 20% off a year of Text Expander is waiting for you at affirmationpod.com/text expander. Using Text Expander will save you time and mental energy while also keeping the lights on here at Affirmation Pod. So come on over and get your 20% off at affirmationpod.com/text expander. Now go be you, go know you, go love you, go receive love. This is Josie with Affirmation Pod. Bye for now.